All right, good morning. Namaste. So today we'll work on the upper back, the thoracic spine. So we think about the acreage around the shoulder blades and the spine that runs from the base of the neck to the base of the breastplate. In addition, today we'll work on Uddiyana Bandha Kriya and Agnisara, which is deep abdominal contractions and fire-like breath. If you inhabit a body in which you are gestating new life, please let me know in the chat and I'll give you an alternative breath exercise once we come to that portion of class. Okay? So we'll start today with a block behind the shoulder blades where a bra strap would sit. And I recommend that if you have a soft block, height 2 is the highest height permissible at this point. If you have a cork block and it's available to your body, then you can go to the highest height because it's solid enough that it won't move around. And if you're working with a rolled up towel, then as big as you can make it will be fine. So we plant the feet on the mat, sit back into the props so that the bra strap region and both shoulder plates hit the prop. And then interlace the fingers behind the base of the head and the neck, hugging the elbows in about halfway here. So I like to think of, I can see the elbows in my periphery from side to side. Gently press the head into the hands and notice this will lengthen the back of the neck. And then as one unit, see if you can start to lower the head to the height of the block itself. And start to cultivate the breath. Use every breath today to bring attention to the thoracic spine, the root of the heart region. And then walk the feet into a distance that feels like it can support you to lift the hips to the height of the block itself. So there's a little Jalandhara Bandha happening, a little tucking of the chin towards the collarbone. The hips lift to the level of the heart. And then we take a few pulses. You can lift the hips and drop the hips and lift the hips and drop the hips. Now, if you're working on a towel or a lower block, be mindful not to let the head drop back too far. So we're not quite in a back bend. We just want to feel that pressure at the root of the heart. Take a few more pulses here, a lift and a release. And then drop the hips to the earth, and you'll start to roll from side to side. So I'm taking the unit of my elbows, the unit of the head, and the unit of the heart to roll across the prop itself. So we're waking up the nerve endings here. The jawbone and the tongue are soft as we travel. The hips are heavy at the earth. Good. Come back to neutral. Again, we'll lift the hips to the height of the block. And then I want you to use your legs to kind of rock yourself from the heels to the head, the heels to the head. So you won't move off the prop, but you'll feel the prop kind of knead deep into the shoulder plates and into the muscles like a much needed massage. The hips can be at any height. We continue to press the head into the hands to lengthen the cervical spine. And continue to draw the elbows in so that you can see them in your periphery from right to left. You've got about 5 breath cycles of time here. Releasing the pelvis to the earth, tuck the chin onto the collarbone, take hands to knees or shins, and slowly roll up to seated. Once you arrive, tuck the feet into any shape, releasing the knees. And we'll seated spinal twist to one direction. For today's purposes, the front hand, flip the palm facing away from the body, a little bend in the elbow. The back fingertips on the earth, a little bend in the elbow. And then start to flare the elbows away from the midline, almost like a bolero dancer. The collarbone lifts and spreads, the shoulder blades broaden, the back body is bright here. 3 more breaths. On the exhale, return to center. Take a pickup breath here to prepare, and then exhale, counter twist. The front hand, palm faces away from the body as you press it against the thigh, bend in the elbow. Backhand fingertips on the earth, bend in the elbow. Try to broaden across the back body as you climb the breath into the root of the heart. Exhale to unravel. Remove the block out of the way for now, and we'll roll back onto the earth. The spine is heavy at the mat. Feet take any shape. And we'll interlace the fingers again behind the base of the head and the neck. Lift the head just enough off the earth, hugging the elbows into the periphery. And you'll start to feel the sensation of the shoulder blades winging separately and then sliding down out of the ears. Use the intelligence of the abdominals to press all of the back body ribs into the earth. There's a little bit of a C curve. It starts to feel like the pelvis is tipping up towards the kneecaps, and it feels like the chin, even though the neck is nice and long, is connected to the collarbone. And then use the legs to shave your back body across the earth here. So there's movement. You feel like the skin is wrapping around the muscle, and the skin is massaging and opening. Continue that C curve here. See if you can send the sits bones up towards the kneecaps. Press the head into the hands so the back of the neck is long. You've got about 5 more breaths of time here. Good. Release the contractions. Let the head and the neck hang heavy to the earth. Surrender the arms down by your sides and bring your attention into the back body where the heart connects to the earth, and observe. Three sighing breaths here. Big breath in. Exhale with sound. Big inhale to full, and exhale with sound. Once more, please. Full body stretch, extend the arms, extend the legs. Interlace the fingers, making a fist here, so palms face each other. And then try to pull the hands apart so you'll feel the outer shoulders wake up. The back body broadens. If interlacing the fingers is not accessible, you can press fingertips against each other. In either mudra, notice the armpits broaden, so the upper back is wide on the earth. Start to crawl the knees into the heart, hands free, stacking knees over hips. There is a curvature in the low back, but see if you can also integrate the abdominals by gently drawing the navel towards the spine. So we don't flatten the back body ribs against the mat in this variation. Crossing at the ankles, see if you can extend the legs up to the sky. If the knees are bent because the hamstrings are tight, that's just fine here. Continue to squeeze at the palms. Upper back is nice and awake. 3 more breaths here. Bend the knees into the heart, take the hands to the shins, spread the knees wide, the ankles are still locked, and you can rock the whole system of the legs from side to side, freeing up the abdominal wall. Let the heart be heavy in the earth. 3 more breaths. Draw the knees to neutral, knees hug to heart, untuck the legs. Slide the hands to the backs of the thighs so we can begin to rock and roll from side to side. Be playful here. If this is not available to your spine, feel free to lay heavy on the earth and simply concentrate on an upper back breath. We're here for about 15 seconds. More mobile bodies might tip back into plow pose or hover in boat pose. Draw the elbows wide, the upper back wide, the collarbone wide. 5 more seconds. And then all the way up to seated, legs take any shape. Seated cat-cow, as we inhale, pull the heart forward, elbows bend behind us, lift through the chest plate, the collarbone is bright. As you exhale, lead with the root of the heart, shoulder blades spread, as if 2 fingers are pressing right into the sternum. Take the full execution of the breath to move through shape to shape. The full juicy inhale as the heart pulls forward and elbows draw back. Lead from the breastplate as you exhale and draw the hammock of the spine wide and open behind us. Find your rhythm here. About 5 more rounds of breath. Finish your next full inhale and exhale, and then return to seated. Neutral spine, we lift the shoulders up to the ears, breathe in, drop them down with a huff breath out. 2 more. And observe the root of the heart, the space in the upper back, along the thoracic spine. the spaciousness between the shoulder blades. As spring is upon us and allergies ignite, it is important to keep the upper back and the lungs vibrant, the respiratory system strong and malleable. Today, think about really every inhale creates spaciousness from the inside out, clarifying the lungs on every breath in, and then the exhale, lungs soften muscle to bone. Full expansion in all directions as we breathe in, and then exhale, muscle to bone as we breathe out. Interlace the fingers, either thumb on top making fists. Draw the arms up and overhead. And again, see if you can pull the hands apart so they won't actually move, but this gives us the leverage to awaken the upper body. Fingertips are always an option if this is unavailable to you. Notice if the shoulders try to crawl up into the ears, very common. Do what you can to retract the shoulder blades onto the ribs. Put another way, slide the wings down towards the hip points. See if you can tether the wings down into the hips. 5 breaths of time here. Slight Jalandhara Bandha. The chin starts parallel with the earth, and then just pull the chin back in space about an inch. You'll feel the back of the neck lengthen, and if you're like me, you feel all the tissue under the neck support your smile and your jawbone. 2 more breaths here. Releasing fingertips to the earth, feel that release across the upper back and the root of the heart. Full breath in, sighing breath out. Full breath in, sighing breath out. Full breath in, and sighing breath out. Moving on to hands and knees. If you have 2 blocks, you'll set 1 block underneath you for Virasana, meaning knees come to touch, feet spread to the width of the block, and you're sitting on the block. If you only have 1 prop, then take crisscross legs. That'll be a little more comfortable for the knees. Today we take our blocks, and if you don't have a block, that's okay. Come back to this interlacing of the fingers variation. If you're interlacing the fingers, you draw the arms parallel to the earth. This is your first stop. Those of you that have props, take your palms against the smallest side of the block and hug the hands against the prop. Notice both variations wake up the upper back. From here, we'll bend at the elbows. Heavy the pelvis. Press the palms into the block if you've got it. See if you can continue to pull the hands away from each other if you're in interlaced mudra. Maintain this nice shape. Elbow to wrist and wrist to elbow. And maintain this shape. See if you can start to slide the wrists up and over the crown of your head. Fullest expression, the elbows are hugging the outer ears. Keep breathing here. Use the breath to broaden the back body. Slight Jalandhara Bandha. Chin starts parallel with the earth. And then slide the whole head back in space like you're leaning the back of the crown against a wall. Heavy in the pelvis. 3 more breaths. Releasing your prop, releasing the mudra, lifting through the backs of the elbows. Think back strokes, and then the palms open wide, gentle back bend, spacious collarbone. Heavy the hips as you sweep the arms forward. There's a little cat-cow action. Exhale, lead with the elbows, palms open to the heavens, gentle back bend. Root of the heart spreads as we reach forward, breathe in. Root of the heart draws forward as we breathe out. 3 more of these, nice big backstroke pulses. Good, final mudra here. Butterfly mudra, interlace at the thumbs, the palms are nice and wide. Draw the elbows overhead, and you can look from left to right. The elbows are at the level of your ears, no further back in space. Draw the chin back to parallel, Jalandhara Bandha. Pull the head back in space as if you're pressing against the wall behind you. Pull the thumbs apart, waking up the upper back. So this is all the work I do instead of push-ups to create mobility there in the back body. And then bring your attention to the spine. Notice if, like me, the hips are pitching forward. Heavy in the hips, so there's length under the shoulder blades. Option to bell from side to side, creating a little more space from hip to armpit. If the thumbs get tired, you can bind at the first 2 fingers as an alternative. Couple more breaths here. Releasing the hands to the earth, we'll all make our way onto hands and knees now. If the knees are tender, you can fold up the front of your mat. You can unravel the towel if that's the prop that you're working with. Once we arrive, palms are as wide as the sticky mat, and walk your knees just a little further back than normal. So you feel like there's a big reach and an extension from the hips to the armpits. Option to walk up onto fingertips here as an alternative, and I like to do this to strengthen the wrists as well. Now wherever you are, look at the earth, chin is parallel with the collarbone, Jalandhara Bandha, lift through the back of the head as if the ceiling could tap the root of the skull here. And then do what you can to broaden. I'm actually pushing away from the floor. There's a little bit of a cat back here as I broaden through the shoulder blades and hollow out the armpits. Now at the same time, pull the navel towards the spine. This will send your sits bones down towards the hips. This will send your sits bones down towards your knees. So you start to feel a little bit of that C curve as we broaden the upper back. Jalandhara Bandha is intact. Tip the sits bones towards the knees and recruit the intelligence in the solar plexus. We're here for 3 more breaths. Good. Dropping down onto the forearms now. If you have a block, you'll take thumb and first finger around your prop, palms face the mat. First finger and thumbs hug the block. If you're working without a prop, again, interlace the fingers here. I like to walk the knees in just a little closer to each other, but also walk your knees just a further away from the elbows than normal. Elbows stack underneath the shoulders. Look towards the earth. Again, Jalandhara Bandha. See if you can lift through the back of the head without creating any rolls in the neck. Push through the forearms. There's a little hollowing out of the armpits and a broadening in the upper back. Do your best to pull the tops of the shoulders away from the earlobes. If you want a little more work, shift the weight forward so the forehead hovers over your prop or your thumbs here. We're here for 5, 4, keep breathing, 3, 2, shift the hips back, walk up onto hands and knees, and then sit back into the heels here. Now, if you're new to the practice or the knees or the ankles are tender like mine, I choose to curl through the toes to sit on the heels. Right hand reaches back behind you, fingertips. As you root through the fingertips, you'll notice it sends the front wall of the breastplate forward. Left hand sweeps up and behind you. Pat yourself on the back. Press the head into the upper arm. Jalandhara Bandha, so the chin stays parallel to the earth, but I push the head into the hand. Heavy the hips into the heels. Feel the spaciousness on the ribs in the front of the body and spaciousness between the shoulder blades. 2 more breaths here. And then release. Come back up onto hands and knees. Don't worry, we'll do the other side in a moment. Threading the needle, left arm reaches across the sticky mat. Drop your shoulder and your head to the earth. Fingertips in front of your face here. This will give you a little lift. Resist the urge to lift the chin off the chest. Support the spine with the abdominals and climb the breath into the back body. About 5 more breath cycles of time. Root down through the hand after your next breath in and breath out. Unravel from the twist. Sweep that left hand all the way to the heavens. Let the hips move where they may. 2 breaths here. And then release, hands back to the mat. Drop back down onto the forearms. Again, option to use the block between the first finger and the thumb. Palms face the mat here. Or prop free, interlace the fingers. Put the other first finger and thumb on top for balance here. Elbows are under the shoulders in either variation, and then consider walking the knees a little further back so there's more space now from the hip points to the armpits. Chin is parallel with the collarbone. Root through the forearms in order to broaden the upper back. Jalandhara Bandha, lift through the back of the head without crinkling the muscles around the neck. Climb the breath into the back body. We're here for 5. Strengthening the root of the heart. Stick with it. 2 more breaths. On your next exhale, slowly climb back up onto the hands. Again, option to curl through the toes as you sit back into the heels. Left hand hits the mat behind us. Push through those fingertips so it sends the breastplate forward. Opposite arm reaches up and overhead, bending at the elbow. Plant the palm behind the shoulder blades. And Jalandhara Bandha. Push the back of the head into the arms and breathe into the spaciousness of the front ribs. And breathe into the spaciousness between the shoulder blades. 3 more breaths. On the exhale, release, climb back onto hands and knees. Right arm reaches across the sticky mat now for thread the needle. Drop the shoulder and the side of the head to the earth. Jalandhara Bandha here. Fingertips in front of the face, push off the mat to support the twist. 2 more breath cycles, in and out. As you finish your next exhale, palm roots into the earth, right side body peels open, reach for the heavens. 2 full breaths. Good, releasing to the mat, knees stack under hips, hands are as wide as the sticky mat. Traditional cat and cow, curl through the toes, drop the belly, maintain Jalandhara Bandha, rooting through the back of the head, breathe in. Tuck the chin more deeply, press the floor away, exhale, breathe out. Belly breath, inhale, maintain Jalandhara Bandha. Exhale, round and reverse. Find your rhythm here. Back of the neck stays long by maintaining Jalandhara Bandha. That's chin parallel to the earth and then pressing through the back of the head. Couple more breaths. Now either stay in this cat-cow or lift the hips for downward facing dog. You can take the first few breaths to pedal out the feet here, waking up the backs of the legs. And then plant powerfully through the palms. See if you can press the armpits towards the earth. Let the head hang heavy to begin. Give it a little wiggle from side to side. And then Jalandhara Bandha. See if you can retract the chin up towards the earth by pressing through the back of the head. Option to bend the elbows slightly. Turbo dog. Hugging the elbows in. Waking up that back body. We're here for 5. So bend the elbows as deeply as you want without hitting the mat. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walk the hands, fingertips are an option, to the feet, back of the mat. Bend at the knees, take hands to elbow for ragdoll. Hang heavy. Three more breath cycles here. Slide the hands up to the hips, hooking the thumbs into the hip crease. Hug the elbows together. Jalandhara Bandha, lift through the back of the head, in order to lift the whole upper back to stand. Once we arrive, let's all interlace the fingers, extending the arms at the level of the shoulders. Try to pull the hands apart, feel the upper back wake up. Legs can be at any width to support your hips. Keep breathing. And then draw the wrists up and over the crown of the head. Fingertips are an alternative. You can push the fingertips against each other if the shoulders are too tight for this interlaced mudra. Jalandhara Bandha, retract the chin back in space, lengthening the back of the neck. You'll feel all of the muscles wake up from the base of the neck to the base of the heart. Three more breaths here. On the exhale, release the hands down towards the hips. Roll forward, tipping the chin into the chest, bend the knees. See if you might touch the toes. Reverse course as you exhale. Slowly roll back up, rooting through the feet. Sweep the arms up and out. Interlace the fingers. This time, see if you might pull up onto the toes. Heavy the hips here and climb the heart out of the pelvis. The legs are active, so I'm hugging the upper thighs, squeezing the glutes as if I'm holding a block between the thighs. Everything is active and strong. Upper back is broad and bright. Option to flicker the eyes to close. This is your handstand practice. Heavy the hips. Wake up and broaden the upper back. 3 more breaths. On the exhale, release the heels, release the arms, close down the eyes. Notice what's vibrating. Full breath in, sighing breath out. Full breath in, sighing breath out. Full breath in, sighing breath out. Good. Facing any direction on your mat, warrior 2 legs. So I'm starting right leg dominant. The knee is over the ankle. Back heel is whatever angle supports the joints here. For today's purposes, right palm comes outside the thigh, press into the thigh. You'll notice we get length on that right side body. And then warrior 2 arms with the left. Look over to the left fingertips. Imagine that there's a table and you're pressing your palm down onto the table. Press the right hand deeply into the thigh. Upper back is broad. Now heavy in the hips here. And see if you might support the heart with the intelligence in the abdominals, in the solar plexus region. Good. Maintain all that upper back activity. We're here for 3. 2. And 1. Lengthen the legs, release the arms, flip the feet around parallel to the earth, and then we'll spin around. Warrior 2. So for me, left side body dominant. Knee over the heel. Make a decision with the back foot. Left hand, palm to the outer thigh, press. into your thigh. Right hand extends behind you, warrior two, and look over those fingertips, and you'll feel this really nice, gorgeous stretch across the left side neck and the scalene muscles here. As if you're pressing down on something firm, you'll feel the shoulder blades retract down the ribs. Heavy the pelvis, and use the intelligence in the abdominals to lift the heart. Three more breaths. Good, stand tall, parallel the feet. We'll hinge from the hips now, fingertips to the earth, or you've got blocks if the floor is too far away. Right hand hits the middle of the mat, right knee bends. Peel open through the left side body. Jalandhara Bandha, parallel the chin with the collarbone, and then retract the chin, peel the back of the head in space. Upper back is active. 3 more breaths. And then exhale to release. Straighten out the legs. Bend both knees, hang heavy. Backs of the hands hit the earth. Let the head be heavy. 3 breaths here. Walking back up onto fingertips, left fingertips hit the mat, left knee bends, peel open through the right side body. Jalandhara Bandha, start with chin parallel to the collarbone, and then lean back into the skull. Really press through the mat side hands. The whole upper back is active. 3 more breaths. And then exhale to release. Bend both knees, hang heavy, palms face up. Good. Walk to a place where you can drop down onto hands and knees. We'll return to Virasana. Knees come to touch, feet open to the width of your hips. I'm choosing to sit up on a block. If that's not accessible for the body, crisscross legs are just fine. Whew. Take a few shoulder rolls. Take a few neck swivels. Move slow and steady. Heavy in the hips. Good. Slight Jalandhara Bandha. Retract the chin back in space. Heavy the hips. Support the heart from underneath the solar plexus. Bring your attention to the back body. Notice a shift or a change. Beautiful. Big breath in, sighing breath out. Flutter open the eyes if they're closed, and so attentive to all this spaciousness that we've created in the upper back and the root of the heart. The thoracic spine is broad and awakened. We'll use now the power of the abdominals to aerate or to carbonate the lungs. This is a clarifying breath. It's a strengthening breath, physically clarifying, helps to push out dead air, physically clarifying. It helps to strengthen the lungs themselves. Great for spring. So short, sharp exhales through the nose, like you're blowing out in a candle. Again, if you inhabit a body in which you are gestating new life, you will skip the breath exercise, but we can all meet up and out. Wrists are at the level of the shoulders. Curl through all the fingers and then push the thumbs away from the heart. So again, if you're pregnant, stay here and breathe, heavy in the hips. And the rest of us, slow and steady for about a minute of time. Short, sharp exhales through the nose. So inhale to prepare. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale a half breath and begin. Keep going. All ages can do this. You'll notice each powerful exhale sends the navel towards the spine, carbonating the lungs and strengthening the breath mechanism. Inhale, thumbs touch overhead. Hold on full. Sip in a little more breath. Exhale, release the hands down to the thighs. Option to take the great lock. When you must, release contractions and breathe. Second round, draw the hands parallel to the shoulders, flip the palms up, and halfway between broad open and overhead, cut it off by a third. Curl through all the fingertips except for the thumbs and push the thumbs away from the crown of the head. Heavy in the hips. Second round, take a breath in to prepare. Exhale to empty. Inhale a half breath and begin. Inhale, thumbs to touch overhead, pause full. Sip in a little more breath. Exhale with control, release the hands to the thighs. Option to take the great lock. When you must, Release contractions and breathe. Third and final round. Option variation 1, palms at the level of the shoulders. Variation 2, split it by a third between parallel to the earth and straight up and overhead. Curl through all the fingers except for the thumbs. Push the thumbs away from the midline. Heavy in the hips. Slight Jalandhara Bandha. Inhale to prepare. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale a half breath through the nose now. Begin. Inhale, thumbs to touch overhead, hold full. Sip in a little more breath. Exhale with control, release the palms to the thighs. Hold on empty, option to take the great lock. No breath, navel to spine. No breath, chin tucks to collarbone. Inner pelvis lifts. When you must, release the contractions and breathe. Observe the effects. Considering the health of the lungs, the strength of the upper back, the spaciousness in the heart, physically, emotionally, and energetically. We'll draw the hands to touch at heart center. Settle the thumbs into the breastplate. And then lift the breastplate up into the thumbs. Let the elbows drop back. And let's seal in today's heartfelt sadhana with the sound of peace. Join me for an Om. Take a breath in. And a breath out. And inhale to chant. peace on earth, and goodwill to all things. Namaste.